see you. My name is Jonathan Fisher. I'm the head of the International Development Department at Birmingham, and I'm also a reader in African politics. And my research looks at the relationship between authoritarianism and development, which is obviously a very long-standing debate, but it's also particularly relevant at the moment in the debates around COVID and whether certain countries have responded better than others based on their political system. And I think that the jury is still out very much on that issue. So I'm going to very briefly talk a little bit about IDD before I hand over, as I had said, to Claire to tell you a bit more about these exciting programs that we're running. So IDD is one of the oldest development departments in the world. We're also a top 10 development department in the UK, according to the latest QS rankings. And I like to think that we're one of the most friendly development departments in the world as well. It's one of the reasons that I have spent all of my academic life here so far since finishing my PhD. It's a nice place to work, and we're all very friendly and supportive people. In terms of IDD's approach to development, we really focus on development as a set of political processes. So development is not just a sort of technical exercise that you can do on the side according to a template. Development is very much about the politics of transformation, the politics of change, the politics of contestation. And that's very much why it makes sense to offer these joint honours programs looking at development and politics, or international relations and development. These two things work very closely together with one another. And we're also very much involved as a department, not only in scholarship, but also in the practice of development as well. So we don't just teach development and research development, we're also actively involved in it ourselves. One of our colleagues is currently seconded to the Department for International Development, whether it's going to be called that in the next couple of weeks, who knows. We also have close links to the Foreign Office. We lead a African politics training program there. One of our colleagues is an advisor to the UN, so on and so forth. And many of our alumni and students go on to work in the policy world all across the world. So as Lizard says, we're going to hear a little bit about careers and also from our student engagement officer, Kerry Myers, in a bit as well. But I wanted to also introduce my academic colleagues, Dr. Claire McLaughlin, who I'm going to hand over to you imminently. She's the program lead for the two sets of programs that we're going to talk about. She's a lecturer in political sociology, and she looks at the role of legitimacy and the relationship between state legitimacy and public service delivery. She's also the deputy director of the Developmental Leadership Programme, which is a large leadership-focused programme based in IDD. And we're also joined by Dr. Brock Bersaglio, who is a political ecologist, a lecturer in environment and development, and he looks at the relationship between human and non-human life in the context of conservation and development. And he's the curriculum lead for the programs that we're going to be talking about today. And he'll be able to join us at the end in the Q&A discussion as well. So I think I've taken up my allotted 2 minutes, and I'm going to hand over now to Claire McLaughlin, who will tell you a bit more about the program itself.
Thank you, Jonathan. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us. As Jonathan says, I'm a lecturer in IDD, and I'm the director of the undergraduate programs. Our department is very proud to be able to offer new degrees in international development, which are actually starting for the first time this year. We have a long history and experience of delivering excellence in teaching and research to postgraduate students, and every year we welcome hundreds of students from all over the world. Many of our alumni go on to work in civil society or leaders in their own governments. Building on this positive experience, we are now opening undergraduate programs. And over the next 15 minutes or so, I want to tell you a bit about why you might consider joining them and joining us and studying with us, and in particular what you can expect from a degree at IDD, why you might join a highly impactful department such as ours, and importantly, the kinds of career pathways it might open up to you. So, first off, why study development, and indeed, why now? In fact, some of you may even be thinking, what is development? And we all know we live in a world that's beset by complex problems, many complex problems. Millions of people live in extreme poverty. The global inequality is growing. Too many children still die of preventable diseases because they don't have access to vital healthcare and water and sanitation. We're reaching a critical phase now in addressing the climate crisis. Increasingly, we're seeing extreme weather events. Whole cities and countries in areas I work across the Pacific are sinking into the ocean and will not exist within the next 30 years. Women all over the world face discrimination and violence simply because of their gender. And indeed, in many countries, girls would not be able to be applying to university in the way that you can. This is the global development challenge. Excuse me. And certainly, as Jonathan said, the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated some of these issues. In fact, this morning, UNDP released a new report which suggested that COVID has pushed around 100 million people into extreme poverty. But these challenges of inequality and political processes of underdevelopment have always been at the heart of development studies. And development is really about studying the causes and the possible solutions to some of these challenges. It's really about understanding what blocks or enables good progress in the world and how we can build a healthier, more equal and safer world. Now, countries all over the world have made a commitment to tackling these challenges under the leadership of the United Nations. They've set out a number of global goals which they aim to achieve by 2030. Some of you may have seen these. They include, eliminating poverty, reducing hunger, providing better health systems and education, eradicating conflict. This is in effect the framework for global action. But it doesn't take a genius or an expert to see that these goals are incredibly ambitious, and they will require global coordination, global effort, and most importantly, people. And that's where you come in. That's where our students come in. At IDD, we've developed our undergraduate programs for students who want to work in international development, who want to be part of the solution. And they aim to open up a meaningful career in what is an incredibly diverse sector. Globally, a huge range of organisations are working in and on development, which means there are a huge array of career opportunities, both in the UK and, if you like to travel, overseas. So we have international agencies such as the World Bank and the United Nations, government actors, which many of our students go on to work for, but also very local, smaller civil society or non-governmental organisations who try to mobilise communities and push for change in their countries, whether it's improving educational systems or holding their government to account for the types of actions they take. Now, our degrees are carefully designed to provide the kinds of knowledge and skills that these employers are really looking for in graduates, from critical thinking to problem solving to research, analysis, and a range of really good communication skills. And we know this because we asked them. When we were designing our degrees, we actually consulted with them so we can ensure that we're really setting you up to succeed in the career that you want. So what's on offer? Very broadly, we have 2 degrees that we're offering from 2020. BA International Development and Politics and BA International Relations and Development. Both of them have that political lens, as Jonathan mentioned. Both of them are available with a year of broad option. So if you want to get really far away from Birmingham or from home, you could travel overseas, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. And importantly, both of them are located within our department, but are co-delivered and co-designed with the Department of Political Science, excuse me, and International Studies. Typical offer for the programs is AAB. So, what's special and what's different about what we're offering at IDD? I want to give you a few ideas about what I think we do that stands out from the crowd really and makes our offer distinctive. As I said, both of the programs explore a range of the world's most pressing global challenges, from poverty, inequality, migration, climate change, governance. But we really do this through using real world examples in the classroom. And so you'll get a really contemporary, grounded view of what matters in development and how development is changing and evolving all the time. It's really important for us to give you some exposure, some experience of what development actually looks like in practice. So we've really written into this degree that opportunity through a study visit to a lower middle income country, which will take place in your second year. So that will be an opportunity to see how development is actually done, the kinds of tools that are used to do social analysis or to plan development programs. And there will be an opportunity for you to listen to and to hear from actors who are actually engaged in the sector. Throughout the programme, to prepare you for the real world after university, we are going to be focusing quite a bit on your professional development. Through all of our modules, there will be an emphasis on practical exercises and projects. But then there's a specific module that will allow you to take a work placement in your third year, so that you can start to learn about what kinds of skills you might need to specifically work on and develop to make yourself super employable when you leave. As Jonathan said, our department is engaged in cutting edge research, and we are world-class academics, but we're also a doing department. We don't just write books. We do write books, and we'll certainly be telling you about those, but we are also engaged in practical ways in the development sector through expertise to various agencies, as Jonathan said. So we're really shaping those contemporary debates, and we have some really quite large research programs hosted within IDD as well, including the one I run, which is the Developmental Leadership Program, which has impacted over $15 million of aid spending in Australia. Why does that matter to you, you might ask? Because it's important when you're studying to study with academics who are actually engaged in research, because they will have the most up-to-date view on what's live in the sector, what's important in the sector. And our approach to learning is inquiry-based learning. So we're really keen on ensuring that you don't just come out with the ability to write essays, but you can actually write blogs or reports that will be used in the real world. Importantly, that means you won't just be writing essays in your degree. So a bit more about the two programs then. The first one is BA International Development and Politics, and we've chosen to combine the study of development with politics because, as we've noted, development is really about contestation, and making change happen requires people and leaders to compete over power and resources. So this degree gives you a thorough grounding in the theory of practice of development, but will also combine this with some theory and practice in power, politics, and these really important questions that also drive development. So you'll be asking, does democracy matter for development? What's the role of corruption in development? Why are some groups more or less powerful than others? And we'll also importantly be looking at the question of aid and whether aid works. And likewise, with the international relations and development, we're combining the study and practice of development with this international lens. And that's because, as we saw in the first few slides, tackling global challenges is really going to require international cooperation between states. So we'll be asking, does the UN system still work effectively? is it still relevant, and which global actors are becoming more or less influential on development processes. Of course, like all our degrees, you can start to tailor in your second and third year your options based around your interests and perhaps your future focus for your career as well. So you'll be given the opportunity to start to specialize in either issues or geographic areas that are important and interesting to you. And here are just a few. There are many, many modules, too many to list here, but you can think about exploring conflict or environment or gender in your third year, second and third years. So if you're thinking about applying, it's important to say, we know these are difficult times and stressful times. And so at Birmingham, we've got a really clear way of giving you an indication, a clear indication of what kind of offer you can expect. And you should look at our offer calculator, which is available online. You can also speak to admissions tutor me. You can email me if you have more questions. You can't visit an admissions stand this year, but maybe sometime between now and next September. I mentioned you might have the option to study abroad. This has actually proven really popular this year. Almost half of the students that we're taking in September have chosen to take a year out of their degree and study in another country. And you know, whether you study in Europe or further afield, we have an international office that can help you find the right kind of placement for you. This is important for those of you who are serious about pursuing a career in development. Studying abroad and really being able to demonstrate to an employer that you have that ability to survive in other countries, to understand different cultures, and maybe to develop really key language skills could be what sets you apart from other graduates. It's worth considering that. So at IDD, of course, we have opportunities here in Birmingham as well for you to expand your social networks and to get a really good experience of being a student. We're a small but lively department. We have a regular guest seminar series where we invite experts to come from outside. And we have, of course, active social groups within our student cohort, including an International Development Society, which organises things like quizzes and film nights and visits to organic farms this year, for example. So if you want to find out more, please do check out our website, ask questions this after the chat. Also today, we have an IDD Twitter takeover by me, where I will be posting more information about our 2 degrees and answering questions, so do check us out there. In sum, I would like to share a short video with you that will hopefully illustrate some of the points that I've been making.
Thank you, Claire. I'm going to hand over to Carrie Myers now, who's the Student Experience Officer, to say a few words.
Hi, sorry about that. Had a bit of internet difficulty. But yeah, I'm Kerry. I'm the Student Experience Officer for the School of Government. If you join us in IDD, I would be your Student Experience Officer. So to give you a rundown of what my role is, in case you've never heard of my job before, at the University of Birmingham, there's a big dedication to making sure that you don't just graduate with an academic degree, with a good degree, but with a wide range of skills and experiences to help you succeed and grow after you graduate. So my role as Student Experience Officer is to help facilitate this. So for example, I work with the Careers Service, with the Library Services, the Alumni Team, and the lecturers in your department to organise events and activities to help you build skills and gain experience while you study with us. So we might organise skills workshops on leadership, teamwork, how to think creatively, as well as more practical skills like writing good essays, good reports, or even good CVs and cover letters for after you graduate. I also work with the alumni team. So this is the team of people who keep in contact with our former students from the department and the university. And we invite alumni to come talk to you and to share their experiences of graduating and how they went on to achieve success. As Claire has already mentioned, and Jonathan as well, your lecturers are also very well-known academics and researchers in their field, and often invite experts and influential figures from around the globe to lead guest lectures. So for example, this year alone, I helped organise a guest lecture from the High Commissioner for St. Lucia, and also from the UK Ambassador to UNESCO, and they were able to talk to students, answer questions, give our current students lots of input on how they got into their roles, what their roles mean, and really give students the opportunity to network and to mingle with experts and influential people. Another part of my role, a really big part, is student community. So when you join us at the university, we want you to feel like you're part of this big, vibrant, diverse community, because you will be if you join us. Particularly in IDD, which is a very varied range of study and has a lot of different people from around the world who come and join the department. So I work with student societies like the ones Claire mentioned earlier to organise activities like quizzes, debate nights, film nights, things like this, and to give you the chance to meet each other and to have fun and to build that community amongst each other and that family feeling. And lastly, I also work with student reps. So at the university, we're very keen that our course and our curriculum and our activities reflect the student voice. And so my role is to organise a student representation system, so to get students to come forward to be student reps and to let us know what we can change and make better year on year, so you're constantly having the best possible student experience. Yeah, and there's loads more I do, and if you join us, you'll hear from me a lot, and more than you probably want to. So yeah, I hope you join us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the open day. Yeah.
Thanks, Kerry. So now I'm going to pass over to Alex Carroll from Careers, who will give you a few minutes on that.
Sorry, just working this out. There I am. Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen, but I'm not 100% sure. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Alex Carroll and I'm from the Careers Network. I'm the careers consultant that looks after the college and which includes the School of IDD. And I want to just tell you a little bit about how you can make the most of your degree and all these fantastic skills that people have been talking about that you're going to develop whilst you're here, and help you really focus them in to help you figure out exactly what you want to do with those skills. And if you do know what you want to do with them, help you reach your goals. So the Careers Network is a massive department within the university. There's got to be, I think, between 60 and 70 of us in the team. But you do have a dedicated careers college team, which is the one that I manage. So we host 7 major careers fairs over the year from a range of different sectors with hundreds of employers. We're targeted by graduate recruiters, second most targeted in the country. We offer funded internships and work experience programs, mentoring schemes, including a specific mentoring scheme for LGBT plus students, and also an alumni mentoring scheme. We offer a personal skills award that you can complete as part of your degree, which takes into account all the extracurricular things that you're doing. We can help you with business startup, freelance support and funding, dedicated international student careers support. We have dedicated support in each college, and you get career support for up to 2 years after graduation as well, which not a lot of universities offer. And to be honest, even if it's a little bit further than that, if we're not too busy, we don't say no. But hopefully you should all be sorted by then anyway. So this is your careers team. And you'll see the handsome man in the middle is probably me. Starting from the left, we've got Louise and Mairead, who are our placements team, because we run a placement module as part of the course, which you can choose as one of your modules. Then you've got me in the middle. I'm a careers consultant. I've worked in careers guidance for years, and I now manage the team. Guggen is your careers advisor, who does most of the kind of one-to-one support and delivery. And also Helen, which is our internship officer, who can help you with finding work experience. And we're based, when we are back on campus, we are based not too far away. We're in the Alan Walters building, but we also have an interview pod that you can see us in as well. So Birmingham graduates are in really high demand by employers. It's the second most targeted university by employers nationally, just ahead of Manchester. And it always rains in Manchester, so really we're number 1. So it just goes to show how good the university is for employability, and what good chances you have of getting a really amazing career after you leave. We have hundreds of employers come onto campus each year, and this is just a few of the ones that we had over the last year. Some big names like PwC, KPMG, the civil service, and we make sure that you hear about these in good time as well. And we have some virtual careers fairs planned for this autumn, where you can still meet with employers despite the social distancing restrictions. We also partner with our alumni working across various sectors, and these connections can allow us to offer you mentoring, work experience, scholarships, and lots of business and research projects as well. This is just a little bit more information about our professional development module, which is college-wide. So once you're in your second year, you can select it as an optional module for your final year. And then you have the summer between your second and final year to secure 40 hours of work experience to use to reflect on in your essays. And you'll also have access to all of our advanced digital platforms, such as Careers Connect, where you can book events, appointments. We've got psychometric tests, CV checking software. We've got an online interview video practice platform, and also Going Global, which is a fantastic way to find out more about how to get experience abroad, which I assume a lot of you will be interested in. And just to leave you with a couple of quotes from students about what they said about the career service. And there's also a link here if you want to find out more, and I will paste that into the chat box if you want to explore what kind of careers support is on offer. If you have any questions